This comes out of a property management company. They came to us here at the AI Institute. Moral of the story is solopreneur, right? And for me, I took this into heart more than anything because I've been a solopreneur my entire life, right? Just doing things on my own, maybe with some virtual assistants, but no real employee structure. And what she realized as we were doing this together, I think a big thing that people don't realize, especially, is we're here to help and build automations to give you time back. But even just compartmentalizing everything you do in your business, being able to build that structure is sometimes something that we may think is easy. Like you really know what you do in your business, but you don't really always remember what you do in the day to day, right? So for this client, when we brought them in, it was very much, okay, let's kind of pull you apart, metaphorically speaking, and start compartmentalizing what you do on a day to day, right? What are these bottlenecks that you're experiencing? And we ended up deciding for her, the biggest bottleneck she has came in that administrative-esque type work, right? She was spending 10 hours a week, if not more, just managing her email inbox, putting it into cloud, putting it into the Drive folder. And as we walked through it, something fascinating happened before we're even talking assistants, is she realized structure of things that she does, like automating, because she was doing it her entire career, just doing it on her own, right? So having her take a second to think about what she's doing in a day-to-day created more ideas for us to give and improve her processes, as well as build her the automations that she needs to make that easier. Because again, with AI, it's all about the input that you're giving it, right? If you don't have a strong input, you're not going to get a good output. So we not only were really able to build her, and it's her little AI admin assistant called George. She named it George. So it's got some personality to it. But again, we were able to give George everything she had from an SOP and sort of company structure, and really to nail out what's the objective of George. What is George's purpose? So once we really identified what that is, George has been able to take it and run. Just an example of something that he's already doing for her is she receives a lot of invoicing back and forth between all of her properties. And that could be an invoice for cleaning. It could be an invoice for the actual property itself, what have you. It is now automated for her email address to read those, absorb them, right? Analyze them for mistakes, because that was something she thought was, probably her biggest constraint in time-wise, is having to say to whoever's sending her an invoice, hey, this is missing or this is missing. So George is now able to basically auto-reply to those mistakes, send them back, so that she doesn't have to keep redoing those repeated tasks of, hey, do you mind fixing this? So now with that admin perspective, and that's just one example of what George is doing for her, it's basically being the everything and anything for her from an assistant perspective. And again, just like the first client we worked with in the first case example, great things happened more than just automation. That's the beauty of what we do, right? The automation is the fun part where we get to give people's time back, but we're also really helping some people, in this case here, a solopreneur, figure out what is she doing on the day-to-day? Because for her, it's fluent, it's instinct.
What I love about that, I'm hearing two things. One is she got clarity. You don't necessarily think about what you're doing. You're just doing it, and you've been doing it for so many years, it just becomes natural, but actually thinking about what you do as a system, and that clarity is so important because it leads to insights. But the other side of it is she could have maybe hired someone to do what you just set up, but instead she's got a much cheaper 24/7 version of it that she can keep on improving. So that would have maybe been another staff member or maybe a virtual assistant, but she's been able to get George as a virtually free assistant to handle that whole thing. And now she's got that time back. She can be going out and getting more clients, spending more time with her kids if she has kids. Like, it's just that's tedious work that she just doesn't need to do now. So that is just so awesome.
You brought up the kids aspect, which is great, because one of the things George does, now that you just mentioned it, is she had babysitting. She had childcare. With her childcare, she always gets invoices at random times from the person she had coming over. And now that invoicing is also included. So we even got a little bit of a personal life back to it.
Amazing.